Hey, welcome back to Calculus. In this short video, I want to just give you a quick demo of how you can use a really powerful free online graphing tool called Desmos to generate graphs of functions. You're taking this class online. I think you're going to be sitting at a computer a lot while you're working, and I hope that you'll take advantage of this tool. It doesn't cost anything. It's pretty easy to use, and having a graph of a function that you're thinking about and analyzing in this course can really deepen your understanding of the calculus and the functions that we're talking about. All right, so let's get going here. I've got a Google page up that you can see, and I'm going to start by just typing Desmos. It's Desmos, and you can see Google is completing, and I've got some choices: Desmos Graphing, Desmos Calculator, Desmos Graphing Calculator. They're all going to take me to the same place. When I go to this graphing calculator, and now we'll see the main page. It's got a familiar looking XY plane on the right hand side here. And then over on the left hand side is boxes where you can type in your function expressions. Okay. The default input variable for the function, like in most math books, is X. So you don't have to type in Y equals a function of X. You can just type the function expression. If I wanted to say graph the function f of X equals X squared, I can just type X, and I'm hitting the caret key squared. So it raises it up, it typesets it nicely as an exponent, and you can see it's graphed the function x squared on the right-hand side there. If you want, you can also type in the y. You could type y equals x cubed. It won't complain if you type in the y equals, but it's not necessary. You don't have to. Now it's drawn both graphs on the same screen. It's super handy to be able to do that. If you're ever thinking that it looks too busy, you can always just click on the color wheel of the corresponding graph and you can get rid of it. Or if you don't want that graph at all anymore, you don't want to bring it back, you can just click on this X and it'll ditch it altogether. Okay. It has lots of built-in functions. If you're a keyboard person, you don't want to reach for the mouse, you can just type the name of them. Here I can type SIN, it knows what I mean, of X. There it's graphed the sine function, drew it in green. If you don't like that color, you can click and hold on the color wheel, go over here, select another color. Maybe I want to draw the sine function in blue. Maybe I want it to be dashed. Maybe I want it to be dotted. Yeah, so there's all kinds of ways to kind of customize the graph that you're looking at. Very cool. If you want to restrict the domain, maybe you don't want to look at this graph, the sine function over the whole real line. Maybe you want to look at it over one interval. Over here in this wrench tool, the graph settings, if you click on it, you have a whole bunch of options. This is pretty busy, but you don't need to worry about all of this. Here, x-axis and y-axis are toggled to show them to me, and I can put in my ranges. So maybe I want the minimum value of x to be 0 and the maximum to be 2 pi. I just typed pi, and it understood that I meant the number pi. And then that y-axis, maybe I want it to be a little bit more familiar, something like, say, minus 2, 2, 2. Okay, and if I hide that, now I'm looking at the picture of the sine function graphed over just one interval, 0 to 2 pi, and I made the y range big enough to see the function. All right. So if you don't like clicking around, typing the names of functions, there's a keyboard down here. Let me zoom back out a little bit so we can see this as it draws it. There's a keyboard down here where you can enter your x and y by clicking on them. Exponents, squares built in if you want x cubed, x to the fourth, x to the 1/2. There's square roots. Here's a button for pi, absolute value. Over here, if you want any other to type any other expression, there's a full keyboard here in the alphabetic menu. You click on this functions button over here. You got sine, cosine, tangent, all the trig functions. We won't really use statistics and distribution functions that much, but here's your logarithm, the logarithm base e, logarithm base 10, logarithm any base, nth roots. So you can navigate all of this stuff by the keyboard if you prefer. Okay, or you can just type in names of functions. If you just type ln of x, it knows I mean the natural log. If I type e to the x, sorry about that, it knows I mean the exponential function. I don't want to look at the sine function at the same time. Maybe I'll graph the function y equals x. This is a nice demonstration that the natural log function and the exponential functions are inverses of each other, yeah? Because those graphs are reflections of each other over the xy axis. Cool. So there's a real quick demo. I'm going to end by just showing you kind of one more feature that I really like about Desmos. I'll get rid of all of these other things and sort of clean this up a little bit, is you can put in parameters. You can put in values that aren't the variable. They're not X, but you might want to be able to change them. Yeah, so I'm going to type in here something called the vertex form of a parabola. You've probably seen it before in your and I typed that A, and notice it's asking me if I want a slider. Yes, I do. And I'm going to write x minus h quantity squared. Do I want a slider for h? Yes, I do. And then plus k. Maybe you recognize those values. There's those parameter names, a, h, and k. This is the vertex form of that parabola. The parabola has vertex at h comma k. You can see my value of h is 1 right now, and k is 1, and that's where the vertex of that parabola is. Sorry about the accidental zoom. And then I can change those parameters. So this is a way, like when I teach people about transformations of functions, this vertex formula, this is a great tool to have because I can sort of play with these things and then ask them to tell me, well, what is K doing? What is H doing? What about if I change A? I make A bigger. Remember, it stretches that parabola vertically. Make A smaller, it widens it. And what's going to happen when A goes negative? Yeah, it flips it upside down. All right, so these are all fantastic features that are available to you, and you can get used to it rather quickly. There aren't a lot of settings, just basically X min and X max. If you're a TI calculator, this is kind of the window, but you can also label things. I said I was going to keep this video short, so I won't make it too long, but you can literally just type in coordinates of points. So if I wanted to do that, and then I can label it 1, 1, and then maybe the exercise could be, well, try to make the vertex of that parabola land right there. And what do you got to make H and K to do that, and so on. Okay, so I hope that you'll use this tool throughout the semester. It is a fantastic tool that doesn't cost you anything, and it can really deepen your understanding of the mathematical functions that we're going to be studying. All right, thanks for listening.